Hey everyone, welcome back to another Godzilla Battle Line video, and today I want to talk about the new meta. Before I get into it, the video you see behind me is my live stream from the release day of this season in Unit 1, so if you want to go watch that, it's on the channel. If you want to watch any other live streams on the channel, you just, feel free to hang out, and they're available to you. But this video is not about promoting my live streams. This video is about the new meta, what I think about the new meta, and what do I mean when I say the new meta? Because obviously units like Batra and Mothra Leo and Ultraman and Psychic Course are still the meta units. But I think there is a new meta emerging. And it all has to do with this right here. The new level up changes are insane. They are insane, okay? Right here, you can take a look at this chart. And this side is the new level up. Like, look at this. It takes one shard of a unit to go from up to like level 15, right? So to go from 1 to 2 is 1, to go from 2 to 3 is 1, to go all the way up to 15, it's 1 per level. So 15 shards equals 15 levels. That was not the case before, right? Before it was 1 shard to level 5. And then from 6 to 10, it was 2. And then from 10 to 15, it was 3. And 15 to 20, it was 4. And 20 to 25, or 20 to 25, it's 5, right? And it would go up. It was super expensive. It was super, super expensive to bring characters up in level, which then pretty much locked in what the meta was and has been for months. Older units that have been in the game for a lot longer with higher levels were meta, and some of those units are really good, like Batra, who has been in the game since day 1, has been a really good unit for a long time. Leo is the 4th unit to ever be added to the game. In the 3rd or 4th month that this game was out, he came out in August of 2021, was Leo, or maybe September. I think it was September. So Leo's been around in the game for a while, then it got some good buffs, and now it has been meta. And the meta has really been favoring units that have been in the game for a while, or if you could just dump a bunch of money or G materials into a piece. Now, it is easier than ever to get a unit to level 15. I got EVA Unit 1 on the live stream to level 15 in 5 minutes because of my G materials. Before that, the most I probably could have brought her to with 20 G materials was probably around maybe level 10, right? It would have taken me easily, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 pieces to get her to like from 6 to 10, and then 5 pieces here. So I maybe could have gotten her to like 12, right? I got her to 15. Not to mention, everyone got unit pieces refunded, right? This is not going to affect newer players as heavily. This affects people who've been playing for a long time. My Godzilla Ultima, okay, my Ultima that I had been using for over a year now, for a long time, one of the units that, at least that I used to be really well known for using, was only level 18, which is not a lot compared to some of the other Ultimas I'm facing. I received back from this update like 17 shards of him, or like 15 shards or something like that. I was able to take my Ultima into the 20s, right? For Kiryu, my Kiryu was level 15 or 16. My Kiryu is now level 23. The refund combined with the changes to leveling up has fundamentally altered the meta, I believe. There are a lot more units that I am seeing in the arena now that I would not have seen before if it wasn't for these changes, right? But then you could argue there are some that benefit even doubly from this, right? Let's take a look at right here. Where is he? Burning Godzilla. Burning Godzilla has been on the receiving end of buffs for months. It seems like the entire summer of 2022 and now almost the entire fall of 2022 has been dedicated to making him usable. He's gotten, I think this is the 2nd increase to attack. Like, he's had his explosion increase. Like, he's getting buffed like crazy. And now more than ever, it's easier to level him up. Where if you thought you were seeing more Burning Godzillas before this season, you're going to see a ton of them now. He was an easy high A tier pick. He's 1000% an S tier pick now. No question. This level up change is going to bring so many more characters to the forefront of the arena. 110%. Gaigan 04, always a top unit, right? The stats are there. It's just the levels weren't there for a lot of players. My Gaigan 04 was only level 10 during this update. My Gaigan 04 now is level like 15 or 16 because of the refunds I got on him. I was able to crank him up in levels to really get him to that peak. That being said, we used to say that the minimum level that a 4-star or needs to be viable in the arena is 5 or 10. And I don't think that is the case anymore. The 4-stars are all rentable at 10, right? And all the golds and the bronzings that we've gotten post-launch that are rentable or post-renting have been level 10. And I think that is now outdated. I took level 10 Evangelion into the arena, and I was getting absolutely mollywopped by Kiryus that were in the 20s, right? Burning Godzillas in the 20s. I have seen more Earths in the 20s and 30s than I have ever before. The level 10 just isn't cutting it. I took Eva to level 15, really solid on her own. I would go as far as to say level 15 is probably the best spot for your 4-stars to get just like left at if you're going to leave them anywhere. I think 10 is fine to rent, but I think 15 is where you're going to want to go, and that is a lot of pieces for a player, especially for a new player. I think that this update really fucks with the new players. Oh, there's my face. Really, really, really fucked up new players. Because there are people who maybe just started the game last season that could not get, as many. Say they just unlocked Godzilla 1954 the day before the seasons went live and the refunds went live. They're not going to get anything refunded because if they just unlocked him and only has one piece to unlock, they're not going to get anything back. Whereas opposed to I've had Godzilla 1954 since his first day in the game in December of 2021. I got back like a ridiculous amount of pieces for him, and now with the shortened the decreased costs to level, there's like no way they're gonna catch up. This update, phenomenal for the meta. It is going to make it way harder for newer players to progress and win. I am seeing a lot of new players being paired with other people that should be in their same bracket, but because of the refunds, they're getting absolutely crushed. I am seeing whales and top spenders getting the refunds back and able to take their units higher than they did prior, which they're getting their money's worth, but then the percentage increase per the characters to go up and up, like for their stats, it's not good. Like the stats to go from 20 to 30 are already not good. To go from 30 to 40 are not good. Now to go from for some of these other units to go from 40 to 50 is probably going to be really small as well. To go these 4-stars going from 30 to 40 is just not any real benefits there. But at least to mitigate this, the whales are getting a ridiculous amount of pieces back, right? Because it took them a ridiculous amount to get there. Okay? Long-time free-to-play players probably benefited the most from this. They never spent a dime on this game, right? Free-to-play, maybe you buy the pass, you don't really spend a dime, and you're getting the most bang for your buck, right? You got a ton of pieces back, and that's going to help you compete with the whales, right? There are a lot of players this season that I would regularly stomp, but now, because of the increases to pricing and everything, they are really putting up a fight. I don't know if that's skill issue on my part or the updates helped you guys, and I hope it's the update helping you guys out because that's what's needed, is that players get like an extra helping hand. But I know I've been ranting for a while now, but this update has fundamentally, I think, changed the way the meta is going to work. There's obviously going to be pieces that are always going to be meta or like meta viable, like Batra. Any unit that is going to give like an attack boost on the field is probably going to be in the meta. The only reason Space Godzilla isn't is because Batra is better than him. And I've been saying for months, as soon as Batra gets nerfed, Space Godzilla is going to be meta. Now, you might not even need Batra to be nerfed, because now you can, if you got a good refund on Space Godzilla, you can just pump a bunch of pieces into him, and throw him on the field and use them, right? Burning Godzilla was probably a top A, maybe an S pick like the last few seasons. This season, I think Burning Godzilla is probably an S pick. Phenomenal stats. He keeps getting buffed for some reason, right? Cheaper to level him up. he's going to be seen everywhere. He already is being seen everywhere. He's a perfect counter to Leos and Caesars and stuff like that. His only real counter is Unit 1, right? Who's rendable at level 10 right now. So that's pretty solid. There's just units that probably weren't going to be as viable for another few months are probably going to be a lot more viable now. Godzilla 2004, phenomenal unit, right? Was probably not, and I said it in my review, probably not going to see a lot of play in the meta for a few months because of the problems with leveling. Now, if you have, 10 G materials lying around and a lower leveled Godzilla 2004, you can take him up into the 10s, like into levels 11, 12, 13, whatever it is, right? That's going to make him a lot more viable. It is way easier to level up your pieces. It is, I'll be clear though, it is still difficult to get the pieces. It is still the same difficulty to obtain the battle pieces. However, it takes significantly less battle pieces to level up and make a character viable. This is going to have a lasting impact on the meta of this game going forward. There are going to be a lot more units that maybe were not super viable before that are going to be very viable now. Gigan 04, perfect example. Very solid unit. Okay, very, very solid unit. He came out in February of 2022, the year that this video goes live. Okay? My Gigan only just recently had hit level 10 before this update. Now he's level 16, 15 or 16, something like that. Okay? That's crazy that I got 5 levels on him because of the refund, right? And so now, even if yours was just hit 10, it still is only 1 point or 1 shard to go up 11, 12, 13, 14. He's going to be a lot more viable, way faster. Kong and G21 are coming back. With this increase or decrease of the level cap, they're going to become way more viable, right? The only reason they're not is because they were limited and you couldn't really get, it was harder to get pieces for them. They're coming back. It's going to be easier to level them up. I suspect 110% G21 is going to become something that you see regularly in the arena. Not only because people are going to want to be using him after not having him for so long, but because longtime players who maybe didn't have the pieces for him are going to be investing in him again. It's gonna happen, okay? Godzilla Earth meta, we thought that might be a few months off. It's here. It is here. Like, the Earths that I'm seeing now are like 28. It is hard to maneuver around a level 28 Earth, okay? That is a struggle and a half. Best health in the game, crazy, okay? The meta is shifting. It is actively shifting. This new update has done crazy numbers for the game, for the game's health. I think overall, this is a really good direction for the game. I wish that they would make it a little easier to obtain battle pieces, maybe give us more ways to obtain battle pieces to make units more viable, or to make units viable faster. If you have the pieces, your units are going to get up to competitive levels. A level 7 EVA Unit 1 has almost the same stats as a level 20 Kiryu Kai. It does not take a lot of levels to have your 4 stars be super viable. They're obviously not going to be at the top of their game, but you'll come really freaking close, man. Really close to getting there. So if you have the G materials and there's a unit you like, use them. If you are grinding for a unit, just keep grinding. You'll get the pieces. It's way easier now to level up than it ever has been. I think it's a really great change for the game. I think goddamn, what was I thinking about saying? The unintended consequence, I guess. Yeah, I guess the The unintended consequence of this change, though, is that newer players that started in the last month or two or few months got absolutely fucked super hard because they did not have the levels, which means they did not get adequate refunds, which means they are now getting outpaced by maybe people that have a few months on them that are also free to play. It's a big fucking sad for them, and it sucks. I think it's an overall good change for the game. I think the immediate side effects are negative for a lot of the players just now trying to compete, because even if you just started this month and you're fighting people that started last month, you're put at a major disadvantage now, which is super terrible. This video is almost 15 minutes long. This was a patented Melee rant. I know how much you guys like them. But I really do think the meta has changed and shifted forever. I think units that weren't viable before will become more viable, especially with the buffs and nerfs. I think Mothra is probably pretty viable now. And I think we're just gonna see a more diverse meta going forward, especially with how easy it is to level up characters is the main point. But that's what I got for you guys. Listen, the meta units are always going to be meta units because at the end of the day, it comes down to how good their abilities are, not how good their stats are. But I think that there is a lot more wiggle room for who is going to be put on your team now because of the level up changes. So let me know what you guys think about that down below. Thank you all so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, I really appreciate you. And I will catch you all on the next one.